Good evening, all. Very warm welcome to our Saturday evening Dhamma Dana Blessing program. Every Saturday evening, we host special Dhamma Dana program from Letchworth Dhammanikethaniya Buddhist Center. Dhamma Dana is the highest form of Dana that you all can join to share that higher merits by sponsoring these programs. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, Supremely Enlightened One, the Lord Buddha. Yo chattanang samukkang se parancha mavajanati nihino sena manena tanjanya vasalo iti. Whosoever debased by his pride exalts himself and belittles others, know him as an outcast. Today, our subject of the Dhamma discussion is based on the 17th Gatha stanza of the Vasala Sutta, the discourse on outcast. Both Lord Buddha, when he was in the alms round, happened to visit a house of a different faith. That gentleman abused, humiliated the Blessed One, saying outcast, Vasala. When he was abused by that, humiliated by that word, he asked whether he knows the meaning of the outcast. He said he doesn't really know, he was just using. Then Buddha asked him if he would like to know the meaning. He was very humble, and Buddha delivered this discourse called Vasala Sutta, and it has a huge wealth of Dhamma that can develop our characteristics. Out of those series of nearly 27 factors of characteristics that we can outline as low quality or outcast characteristics, Buddha mentioned in this discourse. So today we discuss about if someone have the ego, big ego, and humiliate others and think those others are not important, Buddha said that person is an outcast. This was introduced well before this equality and diversity legislation was introduced. How democratic the Buddha was. When one praise and glorify oneself through this conceit or excessive pride, at the same time belittling or condemning others, Buddha said it is a characteristics of an outcast. That person doesn't have a civilized, developed state of mind. Wise person will always be practicing modesty. Even though that person has higher qualities, that person would not be proud of. However, they would make effort to recognize, identify those characteristics, whether it is conceit, whether it is arrogant, whether it is pride, such qualities wise people, they would eliminate, because it has a direct impact for our progress, for our attainments of the spiritual development. This very concept has a direct relationship. This word in Pali language is called Māna. That is the Buddhist term that can be translated as pride, arrogance, conceit, according to different states. And some people in conventional contemporary words, they say ego, big-headed, swollen-headed, inflated mind, because of their wealth, because of their knowledge, because of their status, they can have an inflated mind. That is the foundation of pride, arrogance, conceit. This can use discriminating, disrespecting, and eventually causing a lot of suffering to oneself and to others. There are different schools of Buddhism. In Mahayana Buddhist teaching, the conceit or Māna is called one of the 5 poisons, very dangerous. And in another Abhidhamma in the Mahayana tradition says, the Māna or the conceit is one of the 6 root of unwholesome factors. In Theravada Abhidhamma, it says, Māna is one of the 14 unwholesome mental factors. Of course, in the Theravada tradition, it says one of the 10 fetters, Dasa Sangyojana. What are the 5 poisons explained in the Mahayana teachings? You know that there are 3 poisons, which are ignorance, attachments, aversion. Raga, Dvesha, Moha. In addition to those 3 poisons, there are 5 poisons, another 2 additional, explained in the Mahayana teaching called Māna and Irshya. Irshya, Māna, Kela, we say in Sinhala as well. Māna means pride. Irshya, Issa, means envy, jealous. Those are the 5 poisons. Just imagine what the purpose of what does the poison do? Poison can kill you. So similarly, this can cause a lot of suffering, that called Māna. So that was what Buddha explained in this Gatha. This conceit or pride can generate when you think that you are important because of your different status or circumstances, or maybe even due to the ignorance. You may think that you are better or equal or even less than someone else. That is the nature of this state of mind. If you think you are better than others, if you think you are equal like others, if you think you are inferior than others, you are creating your own suffering. That is being done by this conceit or called Māna. You are trying to uphold yourself, making yourself as an important person by comparing with others. No matter what they have, you just follow your thoughts and attitudes to do so. Therefore, with this always goes greed and anger alongside, which is another important defilements that we need to be really aware. Normally, arrogant is making others discriminated or disrespect. That happens because of this state of mind, which is kind of an inflated mind, because of your wealth, because of your family, because of your country, because of your learning, and that can happen. In the Mahayana teaching, there are 7 types of arrogance, which is kind of a inferior quality, because of the inferiority that can cause arrogance. And sometimes exaggerated arrogance, that you try to show off that you are better than other people. Sometimes outrageous arrogance, that the mind feel better than some superior other people. You are better than. Sometimes there is an egoistic arrogance, explained in the Buddhist teachings, that you think you, me, mine. And sometimes false or anticipatory arrogance. Arrogance just to show off, which is kind of an empty pot, making just noises, but doesn't have any meaning inside. Sometimes we have modest arrogance, arrogance of thinking small, that you think that you are quite similar to other people and their qualifications, their qualities, you are the same. Sometimes there is an arrogance called distorted arrogance, perverted arrogance, that because of the delusions or misperception, some people have this comparing, measuring nature. You can kind of overjudge yourself, saying, I am good in this, I can do this. What happens if you do that? If you are in a position that you just become distorted about it, and everybody can be in trouble. If you like going into an executive position or kind of an director position, without having, but just try to make other people convinced that you have those things. I'm just talking about how in our everyday life this can cause problems. In Sutta Pitaka, there are 10 factors we call Dasa Sangyojana. Those are very directly related to our liberation. Our liberation takes place in 4 stages. One is called stream entry. Second is called once returner. Third is called non-returner. And the final is called Arahant, or fully enlightened. If someone is interested to achieve these 4 stages of enlightenment, that person has to overcome, eliminate 10 fetters. That happens gradually. The first 3, if they make it weaken and put into a very dormant level, that person can achieve the stream entry level, Sotapanna. The person who completely eradicated the first 3 of the 10 fetters gain the second enlightenment factor called once returner. Those who eradicate the 4th and the 5th fetters, they gain the third state of enlightenment called non-returner. Those are called, the first 5 is quite hard to eliminate. The last 5 of the 10 fetters are quite easy to eliminate. Therefore, those who are interested in cultivating the development of the mind need to work hard at the first 5 of the 10 fetters. Once that is been done, removed, The last 5 is quite easy. When somebody attained the first stage of enlightenment called Sotapanna, stream enterer, that person put 3 factors. Those are called belief in a self, ego, sakkaya ditti. And the second one, doubt or unsure or uncertainty, especially about the Buddha's quality, and also dependent origination, rebirth. Those who are not really having clear understanding about those, they have the doubt. And the third one, attachment to rites and rituals, practicing wrong, spiritual, maybe hard, very serious practices, which does not have much direct sense or benefit or meaning. But once you practice the right Dhamma, you should be able to put them into a very weaker position of those 3 natural defilements. Then when you further develop, you eliminate the 4th and 5th. What are the 4th and 5th? The 4th is sensual desire, called kama chanda, that we have a lot of desires for our material things, our houses, our vehicles, our sense of greed for gaining more and more. The next one is ill will, the opposite of that, having a lot of anger, not being happy, always having contradictory feelings within oneself. The person who gained the second state of enlightenment, called once returner, anagami, sakurdagami, that person can eliminate those 2. And those who are coming into the anagami, which is called non-return level, they can completely eradicate these sensual desire and ill will. Then the next 5 is called lust for material existence. And the 7th is lust or greed for immaterial existence. That is just a rebirth in Brahma world. Some people have certain attachments. Number 8 is the most important thing. Our discussion today is called conceit, Māna, pride, arrogance is number 8. The number 9 is restlessness, stress we call. Number 10 is ignorance, delusion. Number 8, conceit. Conceit is very, very serious defilement that uncover the progress of our spiritual practice. Buddha said in another discourse, one who be able to overcome it, they would instantly enter into the enlightenment. And it will last to the very last stage of our practice. So in general, in every one of us, this conceit, this pride, this arrogance is always existing. That will completely go at the occasion of fully enlightenment. And in another circumstances, Buddha explained 14 unwholesome mental factors. So what are those 14 unwholesome mental factors? 4 universal unwholesome mental factors. Those are called moha, delusion, ahirika, lack of shame, anottappa, disregard for consequences, not afraid of doing bad things, uddhacca, restlessness. There are 3 mental factors of greed called greed, lobha, ditti, wrong view, Māna, conceit. So that is where out of 14 unwholesome things in Abhidhamma, the Māna comes there as conceit. What are the rest? 4 mental factors based on hatred, called dosa, hatred, issa, called envy, Machariya, stinginess, miserliness, Kukkucha, regret. The last unwholesome mental factors, three factors are Tina, Tina means sloth, Midda means torpor, Vichikicha means doubt. So this unwholesome consciousness, unwholesome akusala chittas, unwholesome minds is based for the suffering. And that is always being fed into greed, hatred, and delusion. As a result, person's mentality become unhealthy, immoral, blameworthy, and not effective or productive. Lot of painful nature. Because of this defilement called Māna. In another occasion, Buddha explained 25 beautiful mental factors. When you eliminate the ego, pride, conceit, you are developing beautiful states of mind. What are those 25 beautiful states of mind? When someone comes out of the Māna, the person has saddha, faith, sati, mindfulness, hiri, shame of doing evil. That person have the shame, doesn't want to do anything because that person feels shame to do that. Ottappa, that person regard for consequences, knows the results, consequences of the conceit. Alobha, lack of greed. Adosa, lack of hatred. Tatra majjattata, that person has the balance, neutrality of mind. These are the beautiful states of mind that you can see yourself whether you have overcome the conceit. Kaya passaddhi, tranquility of mental body. So you feel so lighter of the body if you do not have the ego. Chittapasada, tranquility, that your mind always remains so clear and happy. Kaya lahuta, that means lightness of the body. Chitta lahuta, lightness of the consciousness. Kaya muduta, that you feel the softness of the body. Chitta muduta, that you feel the softness of the mind. Kaya kammanyata, you feel the very blended nature, flexible nature of the body. Chitta kammanyuta, very flexible, blended nature of the mind. Kaya pagyunyata, proficiency of the mental factors. Chitta pagyunyata, proficiency of the consciousness. Proficiency of the mind and proficiency of the body can be achieved if one overcome the ego or conceit or arrogance. Kaya Kayajukata, that means straightforwardness of the body. That person do not get weak, or those who have no ego are very straightforward in their body. And Chittajukata, that means they are very straightforward in their mind as well. It also comes to the absence of three things. Virati we call. The person who do not have the ego, conceit or pride always practice the right speech, practice the right action, samma kammanta, always lead a right livelihood called samma ajiva. And that person always practice the two immeasurable states, appamanya, those two immeasurable states called karuna, compassion, mudita, sympathetic joy. That person's faculty of wisdom, panya indriya, develops very well those who do not have the conceit, pride, or ego. So those who have the ego, that is a real threat for the wisdom and also knowledge. Therefore, Buddha said that we need to be really focused on self-centeredness. Self-centeredness means that you are thinking of yourself, that you are thinking how you are doing better, that you are always comparing with other people, which is sometimes people take as a progressing factor, but it is quite letting you down, destroy your fame and progress in your life. So once Venerable Ananda approached the Blessed One and asked Bhante, could a person obtain such a state of mind that that person does not have any awareness, any feeling like I making, mind making? Then Buddha said to the Venerable Ananda, yes, that state of such a I, me, my, mine, myself is absence is possible. To eliminate this conceit, to overcome this discriminatory factor, it can be as comparing others as ourselves, or thinking others as superior to us or inferior to us. Whatever the nature of it, that ego, that conceit is a defilement that destroys this life and even the life after. So Buddha said to a person that to overcome is possible. And finally, these imperfections that makes the mind defiled is being mentioned out of 16 types. The first one is called greed. Second one is called ill will. Third one is called anger. Fourth one is called revenge. Fifth one is called contempt. And the sixth one is called domineering attitudes. The seventh one is called envy. The eighth one is called avarice. The ninth is called deceit. The 10th is called fraud. The 11th is called obstinacy. And the 12th is called presumption. The number 13 is called Māna, the conceit. The number 14 is called arrogance. Number 15 is called vanity. And the number 16 in Majjhima Nikaya says negligence. Those are the 16 type of defilements that cause so much of suffering within ourselves. There are a lot of examples even in the Buddhist tradition to say that how important to be humble in one person. If a person has this ego, sometimes you are comparing with your parents, sometimes with your teachers, sometimes competing with your peer groups, which is a very unhealthy, unbeneficial thing to practice or keep as a characteristics. Therefore, Buddha said that we need to be really humble as human beings if you are expecting to progress yourself. Those who are not humble, those who are discriminating others because of different reasons, maybe you are able than a disabled person. You are maybe wise and you think that you are the person knows everything. That way, maybe mentally, maybe physically, maybe verbally, you are having this factor called ego, which is a very unhelpful defilements that develops within ourselves. Sometimes we are getting annoyance from when our parents say something. That could be because our state of ego, state of conceit within ourselves. We are not humble to listen when we have those things. Therefore, it is so important for all of us to take a considerable attention towards our state of mind to observe whether we have this mental defilement called conceit. If our life is a house, that house has very poisonous serpents, dangerous animals. Those are like the conceit that we have in our lives. So with that, today our Dhamma title was the number 17th verse of the discourse on outcast. Yo chattanang samukkanse parancha mavajanati nihino sena manena tanjanya vasalo iti. Whoever with his own ego, thinking that person, oneself is a superior person, condemns, discriminates, abuse other people, Buddha said that person is an outcast, a low quality person. A person does not become higher quality by birth, Buddha said, by action. That is a practical thing in our life. The most important thing is, if anyone deserves to have a higher spiritual development, if that conceit, Māna, is a factor of attitudinal factor, it is in our attitudes. If we do not change that attitudes, we can experience a lot of problems in this life and even life after. So with that, let us take our thoughts together to be more focused on this particular state of mind and to overcome that from our life, so that we can open up the path to liberation, path to happiness in this very life. May this Dhamma Dana bring your blessings for the progress and good health. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May you all be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. That come to the end of our English Dhamma sermon. Now we'll practice few minutes of meditation. Selecting a comfortable posture. Letting the body and the mind to be at ease, comfortable. If you feel more lighter and comfortable, make your mind happy for having this opportunity to be here and now. Let that state of happiness to heal your body, heal your mind right here and now. That will make yourself sensitive to our breath. Notice the breath slowly in. Notice the breath slowly out. Sitting comfortable, keep the eyes gently closed and experience the breath slowly in. Experience the breath slowly out. Notice this breath doesn't belong to me. It's not mine. It's not myself. It's not the same breath we take and we breathe out. It changed. Therefore, having a pride, having an ego, having a conceit, Māna within ourselves, knowing or thinking that we are better than others or we are inferior than others, is a defilement. Instead, we need to develop our mindfulness, our sympathetic joy, our compassion, our faith, confidence, with the state of humble mind, being able to listen, not being aggressive, arrogant to others. As we breathe in, we take these good qualities into us. As we breathe out, we eliminate those negative qualities from us. We breathe in faith, mindfulness, compassion, generosity. We breathe out conceit, arrogance, pride that impure our minds. Be mindful always in our attitudes, in our actions, whether they are being motivated, directed, controlled by any Māna, any conceit, any arrogance. Understand that impermanence, no self-nature, therefore no point to be conceit, arrogance, pride, or having Māna or ego within ourselves. Breathe slowly in. Breathe slowly out, relaxing the body. Let us practice few minutes loving compassion, loving kindness. Contemplate, think, or recite silently in the mind. May I be well. May I be happy. May I be peaceful. May I be free from anger. May I be free from hatred. May I be free from Māna, conceit, arrogance, pride. May I maintain myself, my well-being, my happiness. May I attain spiritual bliss. As I am, may my family, parents, friends, community, and whole universe. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be free from anger, hatred, Māna, ego, envy, jealous, conceit, arrogance. May all beings maintain their well-being. May all beings attain supreme bliss, spiritual bliss of Nibbana. With that, sit 1 minute in silence to finish our meditation practice. Bringing our palms jointly together, close to our heart, let us share our merits. May this Dhamma blessings bring us all the protection, good health, happiness and progress in this very life for us to develop our spiritual practices, spiritual life, spiritual path, and to gain all the success in this very life and the life after. May you all be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much for joining. That is the end of our Saturday program. May you all be well and happy. May the triple gem, may the noble triple gem bless you all. Teruvan Saranam Sielu Denatama.